Well, this is breaking now. The Biden administration set to accuse Russia of meddling in the 2024 presidential election. The administration will announce a plan to target what it calls Russian disinformation and propaganda. So how will the Biden administration decide what's disinformation? Remember, this might all sound familiar. 2016, there was Russian meddling. 2020, the Hunter laptop, that was Russian disinformation. Oh, wait, it was not. It is indeed verified. The Attorney General Merrick Garland expected to answer questions in about 90 minutes on this developing story. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-host Harris Faulkner and Emily Campagno. Also joining us, Fox & Friends first co-host Carly Shimkus, and Fox News senior medical analyst and professor of medicine at NYU Langone Health, Dr. Mark Siegel. Well, let's bring in David Spunt with more on this developing story. David.
Hi, Kayleigh. Good afternoon. The Attorney General will be joined by the Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco and FBI Director Christopher Wray. They're meeting for an election threats task force meeting. They do this fairly frequently, especially leading up to the election. But we are told that there will be an announcement today involving a criminal complaint and Russian entities connected to Russia. We don't have all the details now, but for years, the Department of Justice has said that Russia has been meddling in U.S. elections, and we are expected to hear more of that in about 90 minutes or so. We're told possibly we may get the complaint, meaning the criminal documents, before the election threats task force at 1:30. But we've heard that from all the way from the Kremlin, President Putin, down to some of the Russian state-run media organizations has been a problem. DOJ has been sounding the alarm on this, as you mentioned, since at least 2016. So those officials will have to answer some of those questions. And another question that we want to pose and find out, Iran. Iran is another country where the Director of National Intelligence says, Avril Haines said about 2 months ago in July, early July, that Iran is actively working to try to sow disinformation as we head into the election. So not many details right now, but this election 2 months away, and you have the FBI director and the Attorney General all sitting around a table today to talk about some of these issues as we lead into the election. Kayleigh.
David, keep us updated. We'll follow it. Thank you.
Thanks.
So it's been 8 years ongoing. We've heard Russia, 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 Russia. No one wants a foreign power trying to influence the votes of the American people. That goes without saying. But it's also important to remember where we were and where we're going and how it will inform the future. Watch this.
This cloud about collusion with Russia will hang over him no matter where he stands.
It does look like he's listening to Putin more than he is American intelligence.
We're about to find out if the new president of our country is going to do what Russia wants. The presidency is effectively a Russian op.
The president is a Russian operative.
The U.S. authorities are seeing if those emails we just talked about are connected to an ongoing Russian disinformation effort.
It is so obviously a Russian operation.
Hunter Biden, this laptop that intelligence officials have warned is likely Russian disinformation.
Ongoing Russian disinformation effort.
Ongoing Russian disinformation effort.
I mean, Harris, forgive the American people for wanting to know more about this based on those lies.
Or just basically know where they were getting their information from. Yeah. And if you want the definition of disinformation, just watch that clip over and over again. Look, I mean, they formed a whole agency to identify disinformation. Remember that? And then it was disbanded under a cloud of disinformation. I mean, it was a mess. This works, they think, for the left, Russia, 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 but it didn't work. It didn't work in 2016, and it's not going to work now. But the timing of it is right before that immunity hearing tomorrow, and a few days before the debate on Tuesday, and a few days then before the potential sentencing of Donald Trump in New York. There is a drumbeat to this. They know very little of that is probably going to work out. So they're kind of front-loading. They're doing the thing that we do as human beings. Well, if we pack everything in the suitcase, something's got to fit. Even though I'm 20 pounds overweight or whatever it is. I don't know. I mean, we'll watch to see. But they should start with those 51 intelligence agencies agents who lied about that laptop and check with them on whether or not they actually know how to root out disinformation.
Yeah, you know, in 2017, Emily, that literally was a direct quote you heard. The presidency, speaking of the presidency of Donald Trump, is a Russian op. Okay, so that's 2017, but then you fast forward to 2020 to Harris's point, the 51 intelligence officers, and here's what they had to say about Hunter Biden's laptop. The arrival on the U.S. political scene of emails purportedly belonging to Vice President Biden's son Hunter has all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation. Our experience makes us deeply suspicious that the Russian government played a significant role in this case. And then we'll pull up the New York Post headline. They were banned. They were banned. I was banned as press secretary because this was all Russian disinformation. And here we are again.
There were real consequences, real impact to the furtherance of that false narrative, Kayleigh, and you just illustrated just a couple, because that had a massive ripple effect on the media, the truth, the veracity of what we were receiving as American people. So to me, there are two layers here. There's the bottom underlying layer in which Russia and our enemies have, yes, engaged in a very protracted and very purposeful agenda of disinformation and misinformation and all those words, and with the priority of social agitation here and the destabilization of the U.S. The whole point is we have short-term memories, they don't. They have real long memories and they have all the time in the world. And we operate in increments of 4 years, 4-year administrations, maybe 8. They do not. They have been viewing us for decades as a long-term goal of undermining our stability. So that's number one. But number two, that other layer is the role that the Democrat Party and the media have played in furthering it. So they have succeeded in achieving Russia's goals as they sit here and throw stones at the glass house that is the Trump administration. They are furthering that. Right? And it's like the BC Boys said, where'd you get your information from, punk?
Yeah. Good
My
one.
first concert, by the way.
I like that. Good first concert. You know, Carly, the irony of this is if you read all the way to the bottom of the CNN article previewing this, they note none of this is an effort to change vote totals. Our election system is secure. It is an influence operation. Still bad nonetheless. The reason I bring that up is because there's legislation called the SAVE Act that is about purging non-citizens from voter rolls. I spoke with Glenn Youngkin, and he told me about 6,000 non-citizens he found on the Virginia voter rolls. Yeah. That could actively change elections. So why don't Democrats vote for that?
Yeah, because there is also a political motivation there. And then you bring up, well, there are a lot of legal immigrants in the country, and could they someday become legal and then vote? And all of that becomes political when it really shouldn't be. So the SAVE Act, great point there.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kayleigh McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.